1950s Hollywood had a problem. How do you capture the tangled emotions of a disillusioned generation? The solution appeared in the form of an unknown actor named James Dean. Through just 3 films, Dean's raw talent and unique style would forever change how youth were portrayed on screen. He didn't just act, he embodied the confusion, restlessness, and vulnerability that defined post-war youth. Curious about how he solved the problem Hollywood couldn't crack? This video has the answers. We'll show you the 3 scenes that redefined youth on screen and the acting secret Dean brought to Hollywood. But first, we need to understand why Hollywood's version of rebellion felt so out of touch. In the early 1950s, Hollywood struggled to capture the real lives of young people. The industry's approach often reduced teenagers to 2 extremes: the spotless, obedient ideal, or the wild, unruly delinquent. Hollywood's teen heroes felt either too squeaky clean or cartoonishly dangerous, missing the real angst brewing under post-war America's surface. This narrow view overlooked the emotional complexity and uncertainty that defined the era's youth. The movie showed teens grinning at soda shops or causing trouble that seemed more like a punchline than a real threat. But outside the screen, young people faced a world shaped by war, shifting values, and a growing urge to push against the boundaries set by their parents. The country was trying to steady itself after years of upheaval, and the official narrative pushed family values and conformity. Still, a counterculture was starting to form. The gap between generations widened as parents clung to old rules while their children questioned everything, struggling to define themselves in a world that felt foreign. This generational divide left many young people searching for authenticity and meaning, but Hollywood stories lagged behind, clinging to familiar formulas. A few films tried to address these changes. Movies like Blackboard Jungle offered a glimpse of juvenile unrest, but still traded in cliches rather than real emotion. The rebellious characters were often written as one-note threats, not as people wrestling with genuine confusion or longing. These stories treated rebellion as a problem to be solved, not as a symptom of deeper struggles. The result was a disconnect. Young audiences didn't see their own fears or frustrations reflected on screen, and the films quickly faded from memory. Traditional Hollywood storytelling focused on glamour and simplicity. Characters had to fit neatly into good or bad categories, and any hint of rebellion was either sanitized into harmless pranks or exaggerated into outright villainy. But for real teenagers, life was more complicated. They faced pressure from all sides: fear of war, the weight of expectations, and uncertainty about the future. The movies didn't speak to these concerns, leaving a space for something more honest and raw. Dean arrived in Hollywood after cutting his teeth on Broadway and TV commercials, ready to bring method acting depth to the big screen. When he first appeared, his style stood out immediately. He didn't rely on polished, rehearsed gestures or the confident delivery expected from young stars of the time. Dean's mannerisms were hesitant, his voice sometimes cracked, and he let his character's vulnerabilities show. What set him apart was the way he made rebellion feel personal and urgent, like the moment he lunged into Raymond Massey's arms in East of Eden, making viewers feel that raw desperation. He didn't just act like a rebel, he made the audience believe in the weight and confusion behind every outburst. Dean's characters weren't just angry or misunderstood. They were layered with longing, fear, and hope. He brought a sense of rawness and uncertainty that hadn't been seen in Hollywood's teenage archetypes before. Instead of playing rebellion for laughs or shock value, Dean's performances revealed the pain and isolation that so many young people felt but couldn't express. Films like Rebel Without a Cause and East of Eden didn't treat youth rebellion as a phase or a threat, they explored it as a real human experience. This shift didn't happen by accident. Dean's approach was shaped by his training at the Actors Studio in New York, where he studied under Lee Strasberg and learned to draw on his own emotions and memories. He brought these lessons with him to Hollywood, using them to create characters who felt unpredictable and alive. The difference was obvious, and it resonated with a generation hungry for authenticity. So what made Dean's performances feel so real, and how did he bring that emotional depth to the screen? The answer lies in how he acted, or more specifically, how he transformed the very idea of acting. What set Dean apart from his peers was his commitment to method acting, a technique he refined at Lee Strasberg's Actors Studio in New York. This approach asked actors to use their own memories and emotions as the foundation for their characters. Dean didn't just memorize lines, he reached into his own past, drawing out pain, doubt, and longing, and let those feelings shape every moment on screen. His time at Strasberg's Actors Studio taught him to mine personal grief, the secret behind his ferocious authenticity. This was a sharp break from the polished style of most 1950 stars. Hollywood's leading men often relied on charm and practice delivery, presenting characters that felt distant from real life. Dean, in contrast, never seemed to hide behind a mask. His choices felt unpredictable, as if his characters might unravel at any moment. That uncertainty made every scene feel immediate and alive. In East of Eden, Dean played Cal Trask, a young man desperate for his father's approval. The role could have slipped into melodrama, but Dean grounded it with shame-furious vulnerability. He drew on his own experiences of loss and estrangement, his mother's death when he was 9, his complicated relationship with his father, to give Cal's struggle a personal edge. The weight of these memories shows in the way Cal hesitates before speaking, or in the quiet urgency of his voice. During the film's pivotal gift scene, where Cal offers his father money only to be rejected, Dean's reaction is raw and immediate. The shame and anger that flash across his face are not performed, they're exposed. This performance earned Dean the first posthumous Best Actor nomination in Academy history, marking how deeply Hollywood recognized his breakthrough. Dean brought a different energy to Rebel Without a Cause, playing Jim Stark, a teenager caught between family tension and the need for belonging. Here, his method training surfaced in new ways. In the famous chicken car race scene, Dean's Jim Stark isn't just showing off, he's screaming at his own fear of being understood, a moment that wasn't in any 50s teen movie before. The tension in his body, the panic in his eyes, and the uncertainty in his voice all reveal a character who is terrified and exposed. Later, in the planetarium confrontation, Dean delivers controlled terror amid cosmic chaos. His movements are measured but uneasy, his words brittle with uncertainty. He doesn't play Jim as a simple rebel. Instead, he shows a boy searching for connection, terrified of rejection, and unsure of his place in the world. This layered performance broke the mold of the tough guy and made Jim Stark feel like a real person, not a symbol. Scenes like these landed because Dean wasn't afraid to show emotions that defied easy explanation. His rebellion wasn't just for spectacle. It came from confusion, frustration, and loneliness, feelings that many young viewers recognized in themselves. Whether he was lashing out at his parents or facing down peer pressure, Dean reframed rebellion as something deeply human. He became the first Hollywood actor to give youth a voice that felt honest and unfiltered. As audiences responded, Hollywood began to shift. Studios saw that viewers wanted more than surface-level stories. They wanted truth. Dean's performances proved that there was power in vulnerability, and soon, a new generation of actors started seeking the same authenticity. But even among those he influenced, Dean's immediacy stood out. Each role carried a sense of urgency, as if his characters were on the verge of falling apart, not for drama, but because that was their reality. In just 3 major films, Dean set a new standard for acting. He made empathy and emotional honesty central to film performance, asking audiences to confront what it meant to feel deeply. Though his career was brief, the impact of his work signaled a turning point for Hollywood and for the way youth would be portrayed on screen. Dean's legacy is more than a collection of iconic roles. It's a testament to how one actor's honesty could reshape an entire industry. He solved Hollywood's fake rebellion problem by bringing method, acting truth to teen angst, transforming film portrayal for decades. His characters gave voice to the confusion and vulnerability that others ignored, setting a new standard for authenticity on screen. Even now, Dean's influence is unmistakable. Leonardo DiCaprio said Dean's vulnerability in East of Eden blew his mind, shaping his own approach to roles. Dean's fame may have been brief, but his impact endures, proving that authenticity in art can transcend time. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Dean's legacy, hit subscribe for more Golden Age insights and share your favorite James Dean moment in the comments.